I'm Mike Strickler, and this is how I came to know Jesus Christ. There isn't much to talk about with my childhood. My parents were divorced when I was 12. I was a pretty good kid all through high school. Never did any drugs or alcohol or smoked cigarettes. After I graduated, I got a job and made my first visit to the bar. I spent the next few years drinking and getting messed in with the wrong people. I started using some cocaine, and a few DUIs later, and about 5 years later, I found myself in my mid-20s and not knowing where I was going, and I started messing around with other drugs, marijuana, and I just didn't know where I was going. When I was in my later 30s, I was still living with my mom and my stepfather, Ray, who was a blessing to my mom. But as I was living there, I came home one evening. My mom was having trouble with her health for the previous 10 years. In fact, she had a tracheotomy. And as I came home one evening, she couldn't talk because she just had the tracheotomy. And she was using a little chalkboard. And she wrote, "Hi, Mike." I said, "Hi, Mom." She goes, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm doing okay." I said, "How are you?" And she wrote, "It hurts, but I'm doing okay." I said, "Well, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to go to bed now." And so she wrote, "I love you." And I said, "I love you too." And I gave her a kiss on the forehead. And that was the last time I saw her alive. She passed away, and that was in 1995. Soon after that, I got my own apartment, and I was still going to the bar a lot. I went and saw Billy Graham in Pittsburgh, and that kind of prompted me to start looking for a church. I started looking around, and my sister Robin told me about Parma Heights Baptist Church, so I went and tried it out, and I really loved it. It was a great church. I got very involved with church and choir and the Easter and Christmas pageants, but I was still drinking, and I drank more and more and more. And in the summer of 2000, I went to a rehab and tried to get myself clean. I spent 30 days there, and when I came out, things were going pretty well, until I invited a friend of mine that I met at the rehab to stay with me. He came and moved in, and shortly after that, he started using again. He was in there for heroin use, and but I stayed clean through that short period of time. Even trying to help him get back on the sober way of living. And but then in January of 2001, my brother, who had been diagnosed with diabetes 6 months prior to that, he fell into a coma, and he passed away in his sleep. I kept getting in deeper and deeper, and I had this new drug to try out now. So in June 16th of 2001, went back to the apartment and started partying with my roommate. We were using heroin. I wasn't trying to kill myself. I didn't really have much of a reason to live at that moment. It was the lowest moment of my life. I don't remember too much. I know that according to my roommate, I had overdosed. They gave me an adrenaline shot in my heart. I still don't remember a whole lot after that. I do remember waking up that night. I don't have any idea what time it was, but my dad was standing there by my side. And he had tears in his eyes. He said, "I'm here for you." The next day was Father's Day, and Pastor Terry Zerby came into the room and asked me if I was ready to give this up once and for all. With tears in my eyes, I humbly said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm ready." And so he said the sinner's prayer with me, and you hear of stories of weight being lifted off of people's shoulders and problems disappearing. Well, guess what? It really happens. It happened to me that day. But I knew from that point forward that my life was going to be okay, and I felt that. I felt a peace that I will never be able to explain. but there was still a little bit of an emptiness. I felt this urge, so I went to the 11 o'clock service and sat next to this lovely lady for a couple of weeks, and it turns out to be that lovely lady was Darla, and we were married soon after that. And it's just amazing how God can work in our lives. It is because of God's grace that I am still alive. It is because of God's grace that I have a wife and a son who love me despite my many faults. If anyone was to look at Mike Strickler 12 years ago and compare him to the person who's on this video, there could only be one logical explanation of the transformation that happened, and that explanation is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ has taken me and transformed me. He forgave me. He took away all of my hurt. He took away all of my temptations. It does happen. All I can say is that if there is anyone out there who's struggling, there is hope, and that hope is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ will save you. Jesus Christ will heal you. Jesus Christ will forgive you. All you have to do is fully and wholeheartedly give it all to Him.